Good morning, everybody. You're watching Iowa Live, and we love talking about Iowa arts in our community, especially when it comes to the kids and highlighting the incredible talent that we have here in our community. So that means we have to talk to David Van Cleve, who is all a part, of course, the Executive Artistic Director of Des Moines Young Artists Theater. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, I'm wonderful. How are you?
Great. We are so glad we caught you because there is a show that only has a few more performances.
Yes, only
that
3 more.
Everyone needs to go see.
3 more, yes. We closed Lost Girl on Sunday. We are the second theater company ever to produce this play. It's a brand new play.
Why is that the case?
Because I am obsessed with Peter Pan, and I read about this happening in Milwaukee, and I jumped at it. I actually licensed it before the script was published.
Really?
That's how much I love this story, and I love this.
What fascinates you so much about it?
Well, this particular story is checking in on Wendy Darling. So everyone knows Peter Pan. Everyone knows that he dropped Wendy back off at home, and he said, "I'll be back for you." And then our story picks up from there. It picks up about 9 years later as Wendy's been waiting for Peter. And she's been waiting and been waiting and been waiting. And it's a story about Neverland and about all those things, but really asking us about human relationships and why we hold on to sadness to keep that lost love still alive. And I think we've all experienced grief in some way or another. And this really looks at all the different things that go along with that.
It's one of those, how many different ways can we continue the conversation about Peter Pan? But there are other ways of looking at this story. As you mentioned, this can bring up a whole new idea of what Lost Boys or Lost Girl is all about.
Absolutely. You know, Peter Pan is, it's funny because when Wendy first meets Peter, she meets his shadow first. And so this play kind of plays on that and the fact that she's always been living in Peter's shadow. And sometimes, especially young women, need the encouragement and the opportunity to step into their own light and take claim of their own story. And so that's what this play is all about.
When you first did season announcements that this was part of your repertoire for Des Moines Young Artists Theater, you were very excited about this show.
Yes.
And you said this isn't just for kids.
Correct.
This is for adults as well. They need to see this production.
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's funny. We were about halfway through the process when I found this new study about abandonment recovery. And there are 5 stages of abandonment recovery. It's called SWIRL. And it's shattering, withdrawal, internalization, rage, and lifting. And we have realized that all 5 of those stages are incorporated into the staging of our show without even realizing we were doing it.
Really?
And our first read through, when we finished reading it, everyone around the table was like, "I've been that." So we've used the
something
hashtag
that's relatable to about everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you've ever been in love, chances are you've also experienced heartbreak, and you know what that's like to. Wendy, the line that gets me every night is Wendy saying, "It hurts to remember, but it hurts more to forget." And this play incorporates poetry and language and drama and visual projections and movement and all of that to incorporate this story. It's wonderful.
Well, let's talk to Wendy,
Yes.
or the wonderful actress that portrays Wendy, and that's Kiana Collier. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I love being here.
Let's take us through this version of Wendy in this production and what that's like for you.
At first, going into the auditioning process, I never thought I would get that role. This is the first ever actual play I've done. I've did musicals before, but being Wendy has really helped me see a lot about what has happened in my life and happened that I can relate to Wendy in many, many, many ways. She's a very confusing girl, but she knows what she wants and she wants to get it, and she's going to do whatever she can to get it. And I feel like playing this role has just really helped me connect with my family and just a lot of things happening.
Did you know the story of Lost Girl when you first learned about getting the part?
Yeah, David kind of explained it at the auditions. I was very confused at first, but it is definitely a show that you have to come see, because if I were to tell you by myself, you would still not understand. But I have had people come up to me after the show and say, "Wow, I got every word, every movement, like everything connected." So I definitely think you guys should come see it.
So what's been your takeaway? You said this has connected you closer to your family. How so? What have you learned through this experience that you're now taking into your own life?
Well, I have had issues letting things go that have happened in my life, just, personal things. So I really connect with that and having to let go of things even though I don't want to, or even though I don't think it's time, or I think that more work could be put into it. I've struggled with that, and Wendy really struggles with that, just letting go of you know, Peter and her kiss and just everything, letting go of everything. So I've really connected on
So
that
you were
level.
able to take some of these skills that you pretty much learned by doing this performance and apply them to your real life.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is coming from the mouth of a high schooler. So imagine what the lessons we can learn by this beautiful production. Again, only 3 performances
3 more,
left.
yes. And we are at Franklin Junior High, our new, which is where our rehearsal and offices home are.
Okay.
It's funny, we're in the small auditorium there that seats 600. That's 3 times the size of the Stone of what we're used to. And because this is our first show there, and there are so many seats, we want to fill as many as possible.
Absolutely.
So we just created a new promo, a buy one get one free, for this weekend. Yeah, use the code BOGO and you
Really?
get free tickets.
Okay, buy one,
Good
get
deal.
one. So no excuses. Bring a friend,
Absolutely
bring a
not.
family member. Again, this is a production everyone needs to see because there's something we can really, truly learn there.
It almost sounds like if you know somebody who might be struggling at a time, this might be the ideal thing to bring them, A, to get them out, number one, but B, to help teach them something.
Absolutely, and it's not one of those heavy hitters that's going to be too much to handle as you sit through. It's still entertaining. It still has that Peter Pan, the magic and the fairies that we all love, but yet it connects to us in a deep way.
David, really quickly, because you're surrounded by this on a regular basis, let's talk about the immense talent we have here locally
my
with
goodness.
with our students, with our kids.
It is insane. It's sometimes scary because I'm like, these students have, in fact, when we were doing 13 over the summer, we had Lost Girl in one hallway and 13 in the other hallway, and both casts were talking about the other one and talking about how talented they were from across the hallway, and it's incredible to be surrounded by it when they're, I mean, I've known Kiana for several years now. I directed her in School of Rock and then Hairspray, and to see her now play this role, I mean, Wendy never really leaves the stage, and she goes through 80 minutes of mental health. And just see where she is now compared to where she started has just been, it's the joy.
And that's what
amazing.
that program is all about. Okay, so if we need to get tickets, buy one, get one this weekend. Only 3 performances left. You do not want to miss Lost Girl. How do we get those details?
Absolutely, dmyat.org.
Okay.
Has all the information. We have Friday and Saturday at 7:30 and Sunday at 2.
Now, Kiana, where do you go to school?
I go to Roosevelt High School.
Roosevelt. Gotta make sure we gotta get a
Rock
Roosevelt plug in there.
Riders.
Okay.
Oh,
Make sure we get that in there.
amazing things happening.
Okay.
Thank you both for being here, and congratulations. We know this is going to be a huge sellout this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
watching Iowa Live, and we're supporting the arts here this morning.